August 2022, third day of our first session together, and we worked on some originals, each of which was written inspired by one of my sons. So the first one we went over was with all those odd time signatures in there, and the second one was also unique. I mean, the funny thing is, both of those songs were written in a different way than I've ever written a song. The first one was written on the iPad by punching chords in there. So it was only four chords in the whole song. The second song was actually written on the ukulele. It's the only song I ever wrote on the ukulele, which is funny because my son Jude was born in 2014. Um, his mom hated when I would play the ukulele. I mean, she loved having music in the house, playing the piano, the guitar, or whatever. But the ukulele,
Yeah.
that sound to it just was like nails on a chalkboard. But for some reason, this song was beloved in the family, and I always play it, and it has that that whistling thing. Like, so there's just the
Yeah.
thing, and then there's that.
Yeah.
And so I came to you just with the chart and the ukulele part, because I came to you with a demo that I had a live thing where I just played it on the ukulele and sang along with it. And then, of course, once again, you played everything on there, the drums, and to imagine a drum beat for that, I had no idea what that would sound like. You put guitar lines in there, and then and a bass part, and it turned out beautiful. And
I'm
then
really excited about it.
then there was also the piano part, which you had referred me to Matt Brown. He played some beautiful stuff on there, but for some reason, he didn't send me the piano part as MIDI. He sent me as a wave, which I don't know why any
Yeah.
keyboardist these days would do that. And there were mistakes in there, so I had to actually learn his part, and I replayed it myself, so that
Oh,
it could be corrected. And then I really went through and I modified some things to really harmonize the stuff you were doing on the guitar. So there's a lot of thought went into the piano part as well. And there's a lot of kind of Beatle type chord movements, four major to four minor that happens a few times in there. And what I love about this song is how the chorus it goes to a minor key. So it goes to to that minor and then the five major. So it has that, which is also very Beatle-y, very John Lennon-ish. Um, but it's that emotion where it's like, is this song happy or sad? It's a song that
uh,
who's happy about, telling his son how much he loves him, but there's something sad about it as well. And that's always kind of what that's kind of like my tagline in my bio, why do happy people make sad music? And I think that's a good question to ask. And I think my songs try to answer that, which is, life is bittersweet and it's precious and it's not always straightforward. And, love and these feelings are complicated. And there's regret involved, and there's pride involved, and um there's so much to it. And, the music has to convey that as well as the words.
yeah. Well, some of my favorite songs in the world are like that. It is
Me too.
uh, where there's a lot of Beatles songs. Again, going back to the Beatles, you know, is Michelle a happy song? Is Michelle a sad song?
Right.
It's like it's both. It's
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle. There's a lot of feelings like that. I feel the same way about Hey Jude. Like
Yeah.
it's like a perfect example of a song where it gets all happy, but really the whole song is him trying to cheer up a kid who was going through a tough time
Yeah.
growing up.
Yeah. Or
But
just
yeah, like this one is it's got so much emotion to it. I love it. It's really cool.
let's have a listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's take a listen.
Once upon a time, a stork swooped down from the sky, revealed when he brought Jude secrets that I never knew. I smiled, a blessing in my life. I cried, tears of joy for Jude and I. The math is quite confused.
Reminds me a little bit of
A parent's love divides by two, yields greater than the half. Can a baby boy who loves to laugh retain the words her father says. Should I just wrap him in my arms instead? The plane is coming soon, so bring me back to you, and I will carry you, my son. I love you, son. I love you, son. As months turn into years, don't discount your mother's fears. A love she can't contain. Embrace her and appreciate what I will teach you all I can. Think me a hero, but I'm just a man. When life puts up a fight, stand tall and you'll prevail despite the strength that you may lack. If your brother has your back, as one to face a burning flame, be brave, be always loyal to your name. Jude and I. Tears of joy for Jude and I.
So I love this. So it's like at the end, you know.
Actually, what I did is that guitar part you're playing, I actually harmonized it. In the first chorus, I harmonize it, I think in octaves. But in the second chorus, I harmonize it in sixths. So it's actually a three-part descending thing. Excuse me, that's happening there. And if you really listen to that piano part, it's wow, it's like, you know, it's very, very dissonant and very sad. I love that. And then there's a part where the piano does a thing. The piano plays it's a dominant seventh chord, and the melody is on the melody, I think, is on the root, but the piano plays a flat nine. So yeah, it's a simple kind of progression, but there's a lot of motion that you can milk out of that, and that was really the point with this song.
You really get sad with that, you know.
So I think if I recall correctly, when we finished this up, we wrapped it up, and you're like, yeah, that's a really nice, like, Wilco style track. That was your description of
I
it.
love Wilco. I'm really good friends actually with Pat Sansone of Wilco, and we co-produced the last Linda Perhacs record together.
Well,
and I love Wilco.
You mentioned your Zebra Crossing record, which they had put on their list of 20,
yes,
like the albums of the year, right?
That was a huge honor that I was given some props by Wilco way before I got props from the Beatles, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Usually it's like, you know, I mean, now how cool can I get, man? You know, a lot of people tell me I'm not cool, man, but I'm Wilco approved, bro. Wilco is pretty much like the ultimate, in, like, they write books about songwriting. Jeff Tweedy's kind of like known as like the guy, man. So yeah, I'm Tweedy approved, man.
Right.
Cool. But yeah, no, this was great. This track is awesome. The repetitive drums
Yep.
put you in a trance.
Yes.
The acoustic elements are great. The ukulele is there, but it's not annoying.
Right.
Because yeah, ukulele and banjo are they I ever see this thing about uh the the quartet of the apocalypse. It's like a banjo player, an
Mhm.
accordion player, a cajon player, and the ukulele is pretty close because there's like Jake Chirabaku, that guy Jake Chirinabaku or whatever, who plays the ukulele, but he's like Michael Hedges quality. But
Okay.
then there's like you see a girl come or a guy. You just cut that out. You see a person
Right.
show up at an open mic night with a ukulele, and that's what I take my pee break. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
because 95% of the time the ukulele doesn't bring any emotion out.
Yeah.
But this was great because you've got all these different chords. Because
Right.
95% of the time you hear a ukulele, you hear "I love my dog,"
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff like that. With usually accompanied by a glockenspiel. But that's what I call money music. But this is cool because it's like real, it's real art and it's
Yeah.
great. And it's a great song.
Thank you. I mean,
Great
the thing
song.
that's tricky for me now, like because now I'm putting out my own songs, right? And it's trying to figure out as an artist, like in order to promote yourself, you got to figure out who do you sound like? Who are other artists in the same vein as you? And the trouble that I'm finding is that even like these two songs that we just did, okay, like I'm singing on them, but the instrumentation is very different. One of them is totally acoustic, one of them is full of electric stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm finding that a challenge because how do you describe what the unified sound is? And how then for that matter, how does the algorithm process where to fit you? Like that's what I'm struggling with, frankly.
You know what? This is a piece of advice I give every client of mine. Make music for yourself. If anybody else likes it, it's a side effect.
No,
Because
sure.
when you're sitting in your rocking chair at the end of your life, you want to be able to say, I didn't make music for anyone but myself, but it made me happy. Because
I'll go even further than that. When people say, um, a love song, oh, who did you write that song for? Let's get one thing straight. I wrote the song for me. It's the
yeah,
process, the feelings I have for the other person. Even the two songs we just listened to, which I wrote about my
yeah,
sons. I wrote
yeah.
the songs for me. I'm dedicating the songs to them, but they're for me to
It's
express.
songs about your love for
Yes,
them.
yes.
It's a beautiful thing. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's been many artists, and it's still happening today, that have bent the Play-Doh of themselves to the point where it's not themselves anymore.
No,
And you see it all the time where someone will slag off their biggest hit and say, oh, that's just me trying to have a hit. So you don't want to have a situation where you're successful wearing a costume because
well,
next thing you know, it happened to
you've been
Peter
through that,
Gabriel.
right?
It happened to Peter Gabriel. It happened to pretty much everybody in the industry that's like, they find themselves, oh, this is what they want from you, but it's
Yeah,
not what you want from you.
right.
So when it comes down to it, make music for yourself. If it's a success, who
Totally,
cares? It's a success.
100% agree. And if anybody, it's like we talk about the mashups, and it's like I remember a very good friend of mine listened to the demo I had of the Stairway to Heaven Bach mashup,
Yeah,
took off the headphones and said, who's gonna listen to this? And I'm like, I'm gonna listen to it. And if anybody else likes it, that's great. But I'm doing it because I want to hear it. I want to hear what it sounds like to turn Jimmy Page's solo into a fugue, a Bach fugue. That was for me. If anybody else likes it, like that's great. But
yeah,
you make music for yourself as an artist. That's what you're there for. That's my view of it. And David Bowie, this great 1 minute clip of David Bowie saying this, where he's like, it's terrible to play to the gallery. You're selling yourself short. You should never be doing that. And if you get to the point where you find that it's very easy to make the record, it probably means you're not making the record you should be making. It should be a challenge. It should put your heart and your brain through the ringer to make the album, to make the song.
absolutely. Yes. No, absolutely. It really makes a lot of sense. And it's when it comes down to it, make the best music you can,
Yeah,
artists, if you're watching this, because really you don't want to be in a position where you have, what finally ends up people getting heard is a pasteurization of who you are.
right.
You know, yeah. Don't distill yourself. Don't
Yeah.
pasteurize yourself.
No, no, I
Don't
totally
put
agree.
yourself don't put yourself in a mold. you
Now
know.
let me ask you this, since you are, in addition to
Uh,
being a session man, you're also a songwriter, and you're putting out 12 albums this year. Talk about Waves a little bit. You put out an album
yeah,
last year called Self, which was wonderful.
thank
Uh,
you.
I really, really, really enjoyed that. Um, but you are the type who doesn't believe in Spotify and in streaming.
Okay, I just had this conversation with somebody today.
Okay.
So every day that I go out on my walks, I listen to Apple Music.
Okay.
And I was told that Apple Music is pays the artist better, because when it comes down to it, Spotify is up the utmost one of the worst evils in the world,
Shitify.
almost to our
Rick
current
Wakeman called it
administration.
shitify.
Well, yeah, no, it's awful. It's like I said, stopify, and they should
Yeah.
stop it. Really, the fact that it's paying musicians so low. But when it's down to, it's like the value of music has come down so low
Yeah.
that people don't expect to have to pay for music. They don't understand. Oh, so you buy CDs, and I'd realized I said something crazy the other day. I said, you realize that the current generations never press rewind.
Wow.
They've never had to rewind a cassette. They've never understood that when you put on a record, you can't just skip to the next song. They don't understand the concept of having to get up and switch the side. They don't understand when a tape gets jammed and you put the pencil in and you fix it. They don't understand that. They realize that everything is instant. You want to, you're sitting there, you're say you're a 15-year-old girl getting ready for a party.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I want to listen to Cardi B.
Yeah.
You don't go find your Cardi B record. You
Oh, you
type
just
in
shout
Cardi
out in
B.
the room, "Hey Echo," or "Hey
Hey
Alexa," or
Siri,
"Hey
hey
Siri," or
Alexa,
whoever. Yeah.
yeah, seriously. But it's it's really crazy because music now requires zero effort. But on a good side, you know, you don't have to spend money when you want to listen to something that somebody says, "Oh man, if you like Green Day, you'd love
Yeah.
this," or if you
Right.
like this, you'd like that. And now, our kids, all they have to do is type in, and they can hear not just like normal stuff. They can find the rarest stuff possible.
Yeah.
Like there's kids that are discovering, artists like Bill Fay, Linda Parahax, Emmett Rhodes, and this stuff used to have to go to record stores and dig
Yes.
through crates.
Yes.
Now you don't have to dig through crates anymore to listen to a Sun Ra record,
Yeah.
or a rare bootleg of the New York Dolls with the original drummer that drowned in the bathtub. It's like it's crazy. You can find it. You type in New York Dolls, Billy Murcia, and find recordings of them before they got signed, playing the original version of Personality Crisis.
Right.
All you
Okay.
have to do is type it in. You can find rare outtakes of a Bill Fay record, or rare outtakes of a Nick Drake record. You can find anything. You can find acapellas and crazy
Right.
stuff. But again, the value of music is compromised because this is stuff that I personally spent thousands of dollars on buying CDs and buying
Right.
special editions, buying box sets.
Right.
But now there's no value to music. So, why do we put out records? Because we love it.
Right.
Because we love the reaction when people hear it and say, "You're good," or
Yeah.
"This is great," or "I want a signed copy of your record."
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, I put out 12 albums this year, putting out 12 albums. I'm actually halfway through Waves 4. Waves 3 is actually out for delivery today.
Okay.
And basically, I do 50 CDs of each one, and I've sold about 30 of each one so far.
Okay.
So it's fantastic because when it comes down to it, I've got my fans and they love everything I do.
Yes. Right.
And at this point, I screwed myself because next year I'm going to have to do 12. The year after, I'm going to have to do 12. I can't see myself doing 56. That's just crazy. I could try, but then I'm going to have to do 56 every year. That's crazy. So I'm going to do 12 again next year.
But do
You
you
hear it
miss
first here.
these? They're instrumental.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. Not everybody likes my voice. Everybody seems to like my guitar playing.
Okay. But going back to what you just said before, I mean, you're doing it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, or never mind whether people like your voice or not.
Oh,
But
no, no, no,
do
no, no,
you
no. But
do
that's
you
exactly.
miss do
I
you
don't
miss writing
personally
the kind
love
of
my
songs
voice.
that were on the for at least the first half of Self?
Well, it takes a long time to write lyrics for me.
Yes.
So it actually is very freeing to write instrumentals because lyrics are not my strong point.
Okay.
And I've actually been working with a lyricist lately named Sarah Malik, who's awesome.
Okay.
And we're going to get together actually tomorrow and write another song. So, that might be my new thing for my singy songs, what I call them singy songs.
Right.
But as far as guitar and writing instrumentals, dude, piece of cake. I love it. My favorite thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's the coolest. Yeah. So yeah, that's the vibe, you know? I really enjoy making instrumental music. I feel like it's freeing and liberating because the hardest part is sometimes titling them. What does this
Right.
sound like? You
Yeah.
know? But it's cool. Check it out. Fernando
Right.
Perdomo Waves 1 through
Yeah.
12 coming out this year. So
You
when
and
are
I,
these
so
songs out? What
all right, so here's the thing. I'm gonna follow the advice of these gurus and do it the Spotify way. So I'm not putting out the album all at once saying here's the album.
yeah,
What I'm doing is once every a song comes out every
yeah.
6 weeks, what they call the waterfall strategy. And then when it's all done, then you take the last one and you
Yeah.
wrap it together as an album. So I'm gonna try it that way. I've been making these, 60-second videos every day, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna cut up this interview into little snippets that I can put out there to try to promote the songs. I'm gonna try it that way and see how it goes. So basically, the first track from the album was "How Am I Supposed to Live Without You" that came out in February. Proud to Be the one with the odd time signatures that's dropping on March 9th, which is Michael's birthday, since the song is dedicated to him. After that, there will be the cover of Blackbird that Lawrence Juber played on. After that, in May, will
Nice.
be I did a piano-based cover of More Than Words by Extreme. Which again is a song
Nice.
which I
That's a
felt
great
like
song.
the song, it's a beautiful song, but I felt like the way that it's played and sung on the guitar in the original arrangement, it doesn't fit with the lyrics because it's like how am I supposed to live with that? It's a hopeless song, but yet that jangly, that slap back guitar string sound and the way they're harmonizing as if it's like, yes, we're in love, everything's great, and it's not at all the case. So I thought, all right, let me bring it to the piano and take it in a much darker direction. Also reharmonize and stuff. So that's again another one of my crazy cover type things. And then there will be the songs that we worked on
Cool.
in Opus back in September with Dan Feisley on bass and Terry Brennan on the drums and Matt Lebowski on keyboards. Um, so those turned out. I mean, I have the original cuts of those. I'm working on the vocals now, doing voice lessons to get my voice in shape to be able to
Great.
vocals for those. And so yeah, so that will basically make a full album. It will be kind of a little less than half covers and half originals. And so that will take me through basically the rest of this year, the rest of 2025. And then 2026 is the Four Seasons. So what I did there was I wanted to do a cover of this is back in 2023 when Flowers, Miley Cyrus Flowers was like the biggest hit, won the Grammy that year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Still a hit.
I wanted to do a cover of that, and then I realized that this chord progression, that 6-2-5-1, it's very classical. It's all over the Four Seasons, and I
Yeah.
realized that it fits. And then when I started, so that fit with like the summer of third movement. And then I just went back to listen to the Four Seasons, and because the Four Seasons is kind of like background music, we all know it, bum 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 ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, like we all know it, but you don't really intently listen to it.
No, the Four Seasons, not the song. Not the Four Seasons, the song, not the band, not the
Not the
hotel.
band, please, please, yeah. So I went back and
Not the
listened.
band, not the hotel.
Yeah, intently listened to all 12 movements, and then I realized, wait a second, what if I match up each one of these movements with a different iconic pop or rock song that matches either the rhythm is the same, the melody is similar, the chords are similar, and so we have
Yeah.
an album of 12 covers, which are basically mashup covers that are mashed up with the score of Antonio Vivaldi's Four Seasons. So that will come out in 2026. And then in 2027, we also have another album with songs that you and I, most of them are already done, of other things that we have done. And that's going to be a concept album based upon um, mortality, coming to terms with the limited time
Ooh.
we might have here. And as you recall, my cousin who passed away 2 years ago, and that was very impactful on the whole family. He's 39 years old, left behind three young kids, and so there was
Oh
this.
no.
I took an old instrumental they had, and I worked it into a song, and then of course put some key changes in there the way that I like to do. And I remember giving it. We came into your studio again. You transformed it into something that I never imagined it would become. and there was a guitar
Yeah.
solo in there, and you played also a super, super emotive solo. And I remember telling you, imagine how your son would feel if you weren't there for him anymore. That's what I want the solo to say, and that's kind of what we did there. So it's kind of a
Wow.
very, very heavy album based on those kind of feelings, but again with something hopeful in there. Is it happy or is it sad? It is sad. The subject matter is sad, but there's always hope. We have to carry on, and music is part of the way that we do that. And
Absolutely.
that's why we're here, and that's what I love doing. I'm happy I have the chance to do it. I'm so happy I have guys like you to help me realize all of that, who understand what I'm trying to do, who can take the take
Exactly.
the inspiration that I have and translate it into something that's workable and consumable. Because again, I couldn't do that on my own. I can make little
It's a
demos.
beautiful thing, brother.
I can't. And so
Hey, man.
it's
I really enjoy making music with you because you're creative and you also have a lot of heart and soul into this, and it's great. It's been
well, if,
wonderful.
if you don't, then what's the point of doing it?